Hello, Gatemen fan. Welcome to episode 0 of Opening the Gates here alongside our sideline reporter, Amanda Foster, and my broadcast partner, Aiden Blanc. I'm Jack Hunter, and welcome. I guess we're 2 months away from opening day, but we're going to bring you some content here. We got an interview coming up on Friday with the manager, Ryan Smith, and some interviews here on out. So episode 0, we're going to be introducing ourselves, how we got into broadcasting, and what we hope to get into this season. So like I mentioned, I'm Jack Hunter. I'm a junior at Washington and Lee University. And Aiden, we'll start with you. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Well, I'm a sophomore at Arizona State, but I am an East Coaster by heart. I went to school on the East Coast out of Fairfield, Connecticut. So I know the Cape League pretty well. I've been following it for quite some time. Came out here. This is my sophomore year. Done a lot of ASU baseball coverage. That's part of the reason why I came out here. Big fan of Willie Bloomquist and the whole philosophy that they're trying to bring back the national title contenders. And very excited that there will be not only 2 ASU guys, but 2 Arizona guys, and I believe a GCU guy on the team this summer. I started broadcasting when I was about 8, and it's always kind of been something that I've loved to do. And now I'm here. That's kind of a very abbreviated version of me. And looking forward to Wareham this summer. Cannot wait to see the best of the best from colleges all across the country. And spending a summer with you guys. We're certainly going to have a lot of fun with it.
You're making me feel bad that I didn't start doing this thing at 8 years old. That's ridiculous. Well, yeah, that's true. I didn't start until I got to college. I'm a junior at Indiana, from Maine, but a very long story. I've moved about 8 times, and so didn't have a chance to really settle anywhere. And I was overseas for high school, and our sports sucked. So that was also not there was no broadcasting opportunities whatsoever. But here in Indiana, I've done basically pretty much a little bit of everything: baseball, softball, lots of basketball because it is Indiana and you have to do basketball if you're in Indiana. But played softball throughout all of my years and up until I came to college. So that's what got me into wanting to do broadcasting and writing and everything and come to the Cape. So like Aiden said, super excited to just get out there and have a really fun summer with everybody.
And to round things out, I'm a journalism major, like I believe all of us are here. I'm a junior at Washington and Lee. I started broadcasting when I was in 9th grade, so we can just meet in the middle there. I'm not a child prodigy, but I also didn't start right when I got to college. And yeah, here at WNL, I do games for Washington and Lee, and then across the street at VMI Division I in the Southern Conference. So now we got the brief introductions out of the way. I guess we'll start with Amanda here. We started with you, Aiden, last time. How did you get into broadcasting? What's the story for you in terms of why'd you want to start doing it and how you got here?
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit playing softball. That was kind of what started the love for the game for me. My dad also always had baseball on kind of when I was growing up. He grew up a Reds fan, so unfortunate for him now, but it was good when he was younger. So he was pleased with that. But with family from Maine, I am now a Red Sox fan. And so growing up, I got to see success because the Red Sox were pretty solid up and down, but I got to see a few World Series, which was fun. And that watching the broadcasters for NESN and for the Red Sox was what really inspired me to want to do it, watching them in high school specifically. The other part of it, because I feel like this is kind of a part of it for a lot of women who go into sports in general, is wanting to, you see the inspirations, the few that they are for me, and wanting to be that for other women and other girls who are coming behind me, especially in a sport like baseball, where it's kind of not slower than other sports, but there are fewer women than maybe in other sports or other networks. So kind of a combination of both, but mainly just a love for the game. So
I think that what makes our team a little bit more special than maybe any other broadcast team on the Cape is that we're not only all journalism majors, but we're all baseball guys or girls in Amanda's case, in that we have been around the game. We know the game very well. Jack and Amanda and I are all covering our college teams on a daily basis, in that I'm at ASU baseball at least once a week, usually twice, potentially more. Jack's calling Washington and Lee. Amanda's covering Indiana. Those are, Jack's team is Division III, sure, but ASU and Indiana are 2 of the biggest baseball powers in the country, and it certainly helps us and gives us an advantage of having seen some of the best talent, in that you'll see talent rolling through. I'll see talent rolling through that is going to be on the Cape. And Pac-12 and Big Ten baseball, certainly always fun to watch. But for me, again, I really started doing games in high school and worked my way up here at Arizona State. I am part of the baseball coverage team for WCSN, the Cronkite Sports Network. We do a show every Friday that is live and in a studio environment, but we also do some live shots and things like that. And I'm also with Blaze Radio, where I actually am right now. I'm in one of the edit bays in our studios. I've hosted shows. I'm part of the Road to Omaha, which is our college baseball show. And I've called ASU baseball a couple times this year, got a chance to go to Utah on a road trip. The hope, and I don't really, we'll see what postseason brings, but the hope is I'll be a part of that as well. And then going right into the best of the best in Wareham and going to some of the best locations. I don't know if we've talked about that yet. Some of the best locations in all of baseball every night. Doesn't have to be a major league stadium. Few of them are. I think that's what makes it great.
Yeah,
I have a question. So, what did you do when you were 8 years old then? If you
that
got
was
into
exactly that was
broadcasting?
exactly my question, Amanda. You took it right out of my mouth.
I'm sorry.
That's a
Also,
very
I do
good
want to know,
question. And
Kyle
we will
Schwarber.
go ahead.
Sorry, that came in Big Ten. Kyle Schwarber played for the Gatemen. He came out of Indiana. So
There you go.
very fun. Anyway,
So,
continue.
when I was 8 years old, and there is video of this, and if we get to it this summer, maybe, if I remember, maybe we'll
we
show it
will.
on a broadcast.
We will.
Oh,
There is a news package, a local news package of me sitting in the stands, calling a baseball game into my tape recorder. And my parents made me go sit in an empty section because I was, going to bother the people around it. And I was doing a John Sterling impression at that point still. And I know you're a Red Sox gal. This may hurt, but John and Susan's still the gold standard for me. The ability to bring theatrics into baseball, which I can tell already, the three of us are going to have a lot of fun with that. John performs the game. He does not broadcast, he performs. And we're certainly going to bring an aspect of that into Gatemen Baseball this year. But yeah, when I was 8, it wasn't a formal broadcast. I don't really think I started doing that until high school, but I was sitting there in an empty section at a sparsely attended independent minor league baseball game, a team that is now defunct. The ballpark is no longer there. But I was just sitting there, and a news reporter came up to me and decided to do a story on me. Apparently it was a very light news week, and I was, one of the more important things going on locally. I don't know why, but that's the long story short of how I got into play-by-play and broadcasting.
Do you still have the tape recorder?
Oh no.
Okay.
Maybe. Well, look,
You gotta find it.
It's definitely not with me at college, but when we go home, I will take a look.
Okay.
For me, I grew up a massive baseball fan into a big Braves family. So that was just like what we talked about was the Braves. And I played a lot of baseball growing up, like travel ball, little league. I think I really started, like, my mom always knew that I was going to get into it because the only thing I would talk about is just baseball, baseball, baseball. I'd go to bed listening to Jim Powell and Don Sutton on the radio, and then I would just talk about the game. So she kind of always knew that I was going to get into it. But what really happened is in ninth grade, I was playing baseball, and I was just like throwing too many curveballs, and I blew my arm out. Have a nice scar on my elbow still to share. And so then there was this time for like 8 or 9 months where actually it was a full calendar year where I couldn't play baseball. And so I had to kind of, I guess, figure out what else to do. And it was kind of a perfect time to start getting into it. So then the rest of high school, like in the fall and the winter, I'd broadcast. The spring, I played baseball. And then I was part of that COVID high school graduating class. I think Amanda was also.
I was a year late.
You didn't get your senior year taken away.
Yeah. So
I was supposed to be team captain of my softball team.
Yeah, our baseball team was baseball team was number 1 in the state in our classification. We were undefeated, and getting that taken away just stung. But going to college, it was pretty natural to, okay, I have this baseball experience, I have this broadcasting experience, let's put it together. So I love doing baseball games, and I've been fortunate to call a lot of them this spring. You get to see a lot of good players in Division I and Division III. So that's kind of, I guess, my backstories. And so I think now transitioning to this summer, what are some of the things that you guys are hoping to get out of the summer, or hoping to share with the viewers this summer as we get ready to go to the Cape and get ready to get on the air?
You want me to go first?
Go for it.
Aiden, please take it.
So, like I said, I am looking forward to really breaking down some of these guys. I love getting nerdy when we're breaking it down. The three of us, and I know there are quite a few behind the scenes who I would introduce them if I had all their names with me right now, but we'll get to that at some point over the next couple
Aiden's bad
weeks.
with names. He's
There
bad with names.
There are quite a bunch of people behind the scenes that are going to make this thing work. Whole media team. We're going to have a great production staff. And I'm really looking forward to, all of us will be there every day, going on these road trips to go see some of these other teams, but also, getting a chance to sit there. And last year I was with the Bristol Blues in the New England Collegiate Baseball League. And my favorite part of the day was going and sitting and being able to talk to these guys in a very relaxed situation when they're just taking ground balls, doing early work, going and taking BP. That's my favorite part of it. And I know you get to that once you rise up, once you get into, some of the bigger teams like Arizona State going to Major League Baseball. That's my favorite part of it. Getting to watch these guys in a relaxed environment, just having fun. And that's when we'll do our pregame interviews. That's the most fun part of it. And then, of course, you're going to get to watch the games. And, you get to watch those Rockwellian kind of sunsets. We're going to Chatham. I believe it's the third or fourth day of the regular season. We're all kind of hoping for a fog out. There's so many special things about the Cape that we're going to get to experience. And I think the entire experience is just going to be wonderful.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited just for the whole thing as well. I've been in Maine a lot. I have a lot of family in there, but I've never been to the Cape. So that is something that I will have to cross off the bucket list. But similarly, Aiden, like you said, just to get to know these guys in a relaxed environment, see them having fun, playing a game that everybody who's there, everybody loves it. That's why we're all there. And so I'm excited to, especially I feel like as sideline and then also being a beat writer, you can tell the stories off the field, and that's something that I've grown to love doing that here in Indiana. And so to be able to do that on the Cape for an entire summer for 2 months with guys who you're going to be seeing every day, I'm just very excited to be able to give everybody more insight into really who these people are, because that's what everybody really wants to know. That's the most important thing.
We had just had Ryan Smythe on, and case in point, he was far more informational than I think any of us expected. He's a first-year manager, but he's been around baseball for a long time, and you'll hear it on Friday. He's a first-year manager. I don't think we really expected him to give us as much detailed information as he did, and I think that's awesome. The fact that, he kind of said he's an open book. We're all able to text him, call him whenever we need to get a piece of information. That helps us. That's going to make Jack and I sound, and Amanda too, sound better on the air. It's going to make us sound like we, for lack of a better term, know what we're talking about. And it's certainly, I hope that it translates to the Gatemen fan base, because the Gatemen, one of the original Cape League teams, there's such a rich history of the Gatemen and the Cape League that I think we're all looking forward to getting to know. And we're first years in the organization. Only one of us, and she's behind the scenes, is returning. We're looking forward to learning about this organization and telling the stories of the people behind it.
Yeah. I think for me, the two things that I'm looking forward to is one of the reasons I love baseball is there's so many little things that go into having success, either on the individual or team level, and being able to play growing up. I got a chance to see a lot of those and kind of how guys tick and what are like kind of the little things that go into winning baseball games. And so I enjoy sharing that with viewers and just enjoy the game inside of the game. And then I think kind of what Amanda touched on a little bit too, I think if I had like a style or kind of a thing that I really love to do, it's just tell stories. And I think the Braves radio booth was always great with this growing up, is like, sometimes there are baseball stories and then sometimes there are just like human interest stories and just really random things that really only baseball allows you to do because of the speed of the game. And so I'm really looking forward to just, getting to know these guys, getting to know what they like to do, what makes them tick, and what makes the community itself tick too. Because I think there's just going to be a lot of great opportunities to have some fun too. I think announcing is so great to me because it allows me to be a journalist, and then allows me to be an entertainer. And I think I love just the combination of the two of those things together. So those are some things that that I'm really looking forward to.
And there's going to be a lot of opportunities for those human interest stories. We will not broadcast the All-Star game, which we'll get to in a minute, but we will be there in Harwich. We're going to get a chance. We'll do something fun. We haven't quite decided what, but we'll do some kind of fun, vlog kind of video. Even on off days, there's only a couple this year, at least from what I see, but we're, going out with a guy and going to sit at a restaurant and just have a conversation, and we record it and we put it up on the YouTube, and, those kind of things. The access that you get in the Cape League, in that I'm at ASU, big university, and there's nothing wrong with it. But when I want to do a story here, you got to go through the SID's office, and they got to set up an appointment. Amanda's going to have this too. And then you only have a certain amount of time, and you can't ask certain questions. And you don't get that in
Jack's like, what's an SID?
Walk right up to these guys and ask questions, and maybe they'll say no, thank you, we're not going to answer that question. But most of the time, they'll be happy to do it, and you become friendly with them, and you develop relationships that you use for the rest of your life. And ideally, all of us want to work in pro baseball at some point. Hopefully, one of these guys, at least one of these guys, is there with us. Statistically speaking, looking at, past Gatemen rosters, past Cape League rosters, one of them probably will. So that should certainly be fun, 10, 15 years down the road when one of these guys is playing for the Yankees and one of us is broadcasting for the Yankees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think now let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's get into the details. So Aiden, you're talking a little bit about the schedule. So for all the fans out there, obviously you should be tuning in every night, but what are some of the dates that you shouldn't miss? Big games.
I certainly hope they're tuning in every night. We'll be the best broadcast on the Cape, I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
With all due respect to the rest of the great folks on the Cape, we will be the best broadcast. I can guarantee that. We're going to talk opening day, Falmouth on June 10th. That is a day that we've had circled for a very, very, very long time. 6 p.m. start. It's on the road, but that's okay. We're going to, Falmouth is one of the teams that I believe it's 4 games at each location with the West Division opponents. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's 4 games at Falmouth, 4 games home against Falmouth. So we'll learn about the Commodores a whole heck of a lot. And then the East Coast teams, it's 2-2, but we'll still learn about those teams. But opening day against Falmouth, certainly going to be fun. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. So all 10 teams are in action on opening day, and they're all in action the next day, which is when Wareham has their home opener against another West Division opponent, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, 6 p.m. start. It'll be Sunday Night Baseball. We're going to become the A-Rod, and it's not Matt Vesker's anymore. It's Carl Ravitch. Nobody wants to be Jessica Mendoza, I guess.
Last night is David Cohn and Eddie Perez, or Eduardo.
There you go.
Perez, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And,
okay, so we'll the Sunday Night Baseball of the Cape. We're looking forward to that. So again, season opener 10th, home opener the 11th. They won't have an off day till the 15th. It's a very tough stretch to start the season, including a couple of long road trips. And then you fast forward. The All-Star game is the 22nd at Harwich. I can't wait for that. That's going to be Harwich is one of the most beautiful places on earth. And their field is just gorgeous. It's a big field, so maybe the home run derby won't be as fun, but I think we're going to have some awesome times there. Again, we won't be broadcasting it, but we will have all kinds of content that you can watch from that game. And then the next big game is the Polar Park game. It's one of 2 neutral site, I guess you could call it, games. It's technically a Wareham home game, but for those guys that want to be in minor league baseball, they're going to get to play at a place where they may play in a couple of years, within a year or two. Polar Park, the home of the Worcester Red Sox, and we will make sure that all of us can say Worcester properly, including the Massachusetts folks behind the scenes. But that's in Worcester, July 31st, 6:45. We are doing the game. I can't wait for that. I don't know what kind of broadcast we'll have. It may be only radio, but I can't wait for that. That's, Jack and I, the career start for us would be minor league baseball. And, certainly all of us have the potential to work there. So it's great for us. It's great for them. Looking forward to it. And I know there's another game that we're not a part of, but it will be at Dunkin' Donuts Park. I believe it's YD and Hyannis that play in that game. That's always fun. And then you get to the postseason. August 4th is when the playoffs begin. Wareham expects to be there. They were there last year. It's been a while since they've missed. And then the championship series, August 10th, 11th, and 12th. And I go back to school August 18th. That'll be a fun little turnaround, but
very quick.
We can't wait. It's going to be such a fun summer, so jam-packed in that it's 44 games and I believe 55 days. It's such a tight schedule that, all of us are going to be sick of each other by the end of the season. Hopefully the players and Ryan will still like us just as much on August 12th when they win the championship as they do on August 10th when we first meet them.
Fingers crossed.
All right, Amanda, you want to tell us about how you can stay tuned to Gatemen Baseball outside of our broadcast this summer?
Oh, 100%. Aiden's been talking about all the content we'll be bringing on off days and whatnot. So all of that will be on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I'll just wear them Gatemen. Very easy to find if you just go on Google and type it in. I'm sure it'll show up. And once again, people behind the scenes are working very, very hard to get all of those social media posts and graphics and videos and everything up. So expect a whole lot this season from them as well.
You've already seen some of it. We have a terrific staff that we will introduce you to at some point this season, but we have a terrific staff that is going to do some great jobs. And you've already seen the graphics.
Got some good looking graphics too. And the schedule's there too. If you want to find out when we're playing, we'll be on the Wareham Gatemen YouTube channel. We got video broadcasts, at least for home games, and we'll do radio on the road, it looks like. And you can tune in. We got a pregame show about 20 minutes before first pitch, and then we got a quick little postgame show before we have to get out of there, and hopefully some YouTube content just like this video opening the gates here, and just like our manager interview with Ryan Smith on Friday. And before we get out of here, Aiden and Amanda, I got one question. Off day, one thing that you're looking forward to doing.
I have two things. Does that break the rules?
No, one.
Loving the Fenway Park trip. That doesn't ever count as an off day, really. There's no game, but at the same time, and I'm hoping that they will let us maybe in the booth to film a podcast or something. We'll find an excuse to get in there. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be such a fun trip going up to Boston. Wareham is about an hour outside of Boston, so closer than some of the other clubs. But we're really looking forward to that. And then the food. Love Arizona food. But I was always, I've grown accustomed to those summer, lobster rolls, fried clams, and you don't really get that out here. That may shock you. You don't really get that out here. I'm looking forward to, a nice lobster roll, some fried clams, some great, terrific seafood that you really can only find in New England. Jack will find that out very quickly. Amanda knows that. We're a good mix of New England folks and non-New England folks. And I think all of the New Englanders are looking forward to not hazing, but welcoming our wonderful folks across the country. Because just as it's a team from across the country, we've got interns from across the country. And I can't wait to meet everybody and get out there about a week before first pitch and get a chance to orient ourselves with one of the great traditions in all of baseball, the Cape Cod baseball. It's been around for so long, and it's going to be such a special summer.
All right, Amanda, one thing.
Well, Aiden, you took my answer, and I also kind of have two answers because I was going to say food.
Okay, but also if Aiden got two,
right.
You get two.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. The food, because also Indiana, not the same as New England food. Shocker, we don't have seafood either because it is the Midwest. But I'm also just going to say spending time outside. Not at a baseball field. I love baseball fields. I could spend forever at a baseball field, but also it's Cape Cod. There's so much else to do outside than be at a baseball game. And so I'm going to really try hard to take advantage of that on the off days.
We'll do a podcast from the beach. It will happen.
Oh my God. So many podcasts.
Just sitting.
Aiden, we'll give Aiden a tape recorder and tell him to go. We'll give Aiden a tape recorder, tell him to go.
Can't argue with that.
And
no one has ever gone wrong doing that.
I'll be 200 yards down the beach.
Yeah, I'm going to be reading my book, getting a tan, and you're going to be podcasting.
Perfect. Sign me up.
Yeah, the Aiden Chronicles of the Summer, new series coming out. I think naturally I'm a huge homebody, so I'm going to have to force myself to get out and experience all that is to offer, especially on those off days. I'm going to love to sleep, so someone's going to have to get me up and out.
Yeah, me too. And we're sharing a house, so someone's going to have to drive over.
That's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, enough of us talking. Thank you for tuning in to episode 0 of Opening the Gates. Coming up on Friday, we're going to get an interview with the new skipper, Ryan Smith, entering his first year as the manager of the Wareham Gatemen. And on behalf of our sideline reporter and beat writer Amanda Foster and my broadcast partner Aiden Blanc. I'm Jack Hunter saying so long. You've been listening to Opening the Gates here for the Wareham Gatemen.